Okay, what I'd like to do now is show you the final step, and that's putting on your closure to your sling bag. And here's the example I have. I put on a button, and I have a elastic band that I've used to close it. And on the back side, I've put a button on, so when I reverse the bag, you will see I've also put an elastic band there. And now when I put it down here, I have my closure on this side as well. Very simply done. And what I did is I just bought a couple packages of buttons. In this case, I got them at Walmart. You can get them at Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics, different fabric stores or hobby stores. Got it in a package, or go to a thrift store and you might find them there as well. Again, different size buttons you can use. As far as the elastic cording, you can find it in rolls like this, and so there's 4 different colors and designs here, but also in a pinch you might find them as hair ties, and that's what I found here. Or with your extra, you can make hair ties for your kids. Here's another type of hair tie you could possibly use, and again, it's just a stretchy elastic band. A couple other closures I've used here. I've used where I have a clip and a ring that attaches. So instead of using the elastic band, I use this ring. And so on this sample, the ring would attach here, and you would have your flap like so, and you would attach it there, and you can simply unlatch it and turn it inside out and do the other side. So in this case you need 2 rings, but you only need 1 clasp. Again, you can buy them in packages like so at the craft store or at the sewing store. Here's another example. This is a dark colored, heavier. The great thing about these is they swivel, so you can use them on either side, and it just unhooks like so. Again, you could also use something like this. This is a 1-inch cording that I've used, and this can be used, or you can use fabric that you made and sew this inside your flap. Again, I just sewed it in the seam in this case. Another example I've used here is a shell, a seed shell that I picked up. It already had a hole in it from washing on the water, and I've used, again, this macrame nylon cording. I fancied it up by putting a bead that had a hole in it, pushed through my cording, and then I melted it and pressed it out so my bead can't come off, so it's nice and snug. And so I use this in place of where I have the button, and I can sew that on, and I can use a stretchy cord. Again, I can use that as my closure piece, and I can coordinate that, or I can use a piece of rope that I put in a loop, and I attach that on, and that looks very nice and fashionable. And you sew that on and you have a nice looking. Again, this, you would only need one if you put it on in this area. If you have it up higher, you will need two attached. Here's another example. I've used just a rubber wine cork. Again, I try to use whatever I have laying around because that's usually when I'm busy sewing and I don't want to run to the store. So in this case, I'm just using a little model here, but I poked a hole in my cork in the side. I started it with my scissors and little scissors, and I poked it and I turned it around to enlarge the hole. If I need a little larger, took a bigger scissors and enlarged it. And then ultimately I took, again, this is something I found around home. It's something you get in all your packaging, and I just pushed that through, and I threaded on a couple beads and twisted the end to secure it. And I used a piece of rope on the other end here to attach it to my flap. So again, that would be attached to your flap. Very similar to this, where I have it attached. You can see that'd be real pretty too. And again, I just put a loop down below to, and there you have a nice cute little attachment. Again, you would only need one of these on the flap, and you would need two rings, one or two elastic bands sewed on, one on the outside and one on the inside. So you see there's a lot of different options here. We got the rubber wine cork. We have the clasp here. And here's another version of that in a darker color. And I've also used the shell and used the buttons. So use your imagination and have fun.